Hello, welcome for today's module. We have been studying about high-rise structures, the various systems that are used for constructing high-rise structures, and we also studied about the structural system as the shear core system, the RCC shear core system we tried to study. So today we are going further and studying a construction method or system known as composite structural system. So, composite structure, as the name suggests, it is a combination of two materials and forming a new system altogether. Okay, so about it, we are going to try and know what this system is, what are the various elements that are covered up while forming this system. For example, we are going to learn about composite slabs, composite beams, and columns. We are going to learn about the detail at the junctions of each of the component. We are going to learn about how are these each element formed and how do they behave structurally. So today we are going to focus on the connection between our theory of structures. For example, we will also talk about the kind of forces that are applied in each of these elements and why is it designed in that manner. For example, when we talk about beams, we are going to talk about the deflections that are going to happen and how are the composite type of structure system better as compared to a traditional RCC one while catering to those forces. Okay, so we are going to keep on comparing this system of composite structures with the system of traditional or conventional method of RCC construction. So comparatively, when we study, then we will get to know the positives or advantages of composite structures. Okay.
What are composite structures? It is actually the most important and most frequently encountered combination of construction materials. If we talk about composite structures, the materials used in composite structures, the most important and very frequently encountered combination for construction materials is that of steel and concrete, with applications in multi-story commercial buildings, factories, as well as in the bridges construction. So this composite construction, it refers to two load carrying structural members that are integrally connected and deflect as a single unit. So even if these are going to be two varying materials, they will have their own properties, but at the end they act as an integrated or connected member, which is going to cater its need for either deflection or any other purposes for the applied forces. Then, as we all know, this has become quite a standard type of construction in high rise buildings that is selected by many architects and engineers and developers. We will see the positives of it, that are because of which it is so common these days. So the composite floor systems, majorly they are considered by many to be the highest quality type of construction. So these essentially different materials are completely compatible and complementary to each other. They are almost this. They have almost similar kind of thermal expansion in them. The ability to expand and contract according to the temperatures is pretty similar. So it is an ideal combination of strengths with the concrete efficient in the compression and steel efficient for the tension work. So concrete also gives corrosion protection and thermal insulation to the steel and at the elevated temperatures. So let us see what are the major advantage because of which these composite structures are preferred. So composite construction is used for commercial and other multi-story buildings. It offers, let us see one by one what are the advantages. So the concrete acts together with the steel to create a stiffer and lighter and less expensive structure. So the speed and simplicity of construction is another parameter. Because of this, the composite construction is faster to erect. It is nearly almost, if we see, 25% faster than the traditional construction methods. The lighter construction, the weight has reduced, so because of the same, it is the lighter in construction than the traditional concrete buildings. So and also material handling, like mixing things and then operating, is pretty less as compared to the other techniques, so less material handling happens on the site. So it has also better ductility and hence a superior lateral load behavior. So it gives a better resistance to earthquake and any other movements that are happening. So also the ability to cover large column free area in buildings and longer spans for kind of structures like bridges or flyovers. So if we see the composite action in beams, now as we know the beams are these horizontal members, so they consist of in this type of structures they consist of a steel girder. Majorly it is an I section and it is subjected to bending. As the floor above it in C2 concrete floor called as deck is, and the two materials that are interconnected by means of mechanical shear connectors. So in this case, for single span beams, the sagging, bending moments and due to the applied vertical loads, they cause tensile forces in the steel section and compression in the concrete deck. So that is how it makes the optimum use of each material. So therefore, the composite beams even with a small steel section have very high stiffness and they can carry heavy loads on the long spans. So if we talk about the action that is happening in the this composite beams, let us try and understand this diagram. Okay, so if the slip is free to occur at the interface between the steel section and the concrete slab, each component will act independently like shown in this figure. So if the slip at the interface is eliminated, if we for consider that there is no slip going to happen, or at least if it is reduced, the slab and the steel member will act together as a composite unit, right? So the resulting increase in the resistance will depend on the extent to which the slip is prevented. So it is very important to manage it. Now specifically if we see, a composite beam has a greater stiffness and it is usually higher load resistant than non-composite type of construction or beams. So consequently the smaller steel section is usually required. The result is we save on the material and also the depth required for the beam is less, so we get a larger room space, right? It leaves a lower story height in the traditional kind of method, right? When we have more depth we get lesser height in the room, but in this type we get this positive. So if we see these type of composite beams, we have these varying type like T beam, there is haunch slab which has this beam as a part of it, the steel box girder, in this it is pipe kind of section is used. We have precast concrete units as well. Beam to now important connection is a beam to column connection. Okay, we have always seen even in RCC it has been a critical kind of junction which is very important to consider. So the performance criteria of this for specifically for the beams, the joints which are there in beam and beam to column junction, they should behave much like a hinge before the concreting is done. So they need not be a monolith element, but they can allow a little bit of flexibility that is going to be required. Let us further see the system of composite columns. Okay, so three different types of composite columns are principally used. So majorly they are concrete that is encased to the steel columns. Then there are concrete filled steel tubes and rolled section columns partly encased with concrete. So we see these typical sections of columns here. So here the concrete encased columns, they have the advantage that they meet fire resistance requirements without any further extra protection required. So additionally they can also easily be strengthened by reinforcing bars of the concrete cover in the concrete cover. So they do not however present an accessible structural steel surface for later fastening, and attractive surface treatments is provided because of them. So in the case of prefabricated encased columns, the structural steel sections are fabricated in a workshop and they include all welds, connections, plates and other necessary attachments over them. Okay, so the steel columns, up till now the longest have been up to 30-meter long. So it can be transported to another workshop where the concreting takes place. So after the concrete encasement has cured the completed column, it can be brought to the construction site. So If we see the composite slabs later on, okay, so majorly in the floor construction the use of solid reinforced concrete slab is being replaced more and more by metal decking. So here we see that basic difference if we compare with the RCC kind of slab and this composite slab. This is the basic difference. So the modern profile steel sheeting with additional indentions or additional attachments or embossments, it acts as a permanent formwork during the concreting and tension reinforcement after the concrete has hardened. So here we don't need any extra formwork for doing this. So at the final stage, the composite slab consists of a profiled steel sheet and an upper concrete topping which are interconnected in such a manner that the horizontal shear forces can be resisted at the steel concrete interface. So the slip, that is the relative displacements that can happen at the interface, they must be prevented completely or partly, as it should be vertical separation of the steel decking from the concrete topping. So if we see in this diagram, there are these metal studs that are provided to anchor between the I section and the deck. Okay, so there is this steel reinforcement and the concrete, and there is this metal decking at the bottom, which is going to be seen at the when the slab is totally done. So the composite slabs, these are supported by steel beams as shown. So which normally the steel beam act as compositely with the concrete slab. The spacing of these beams are therefore the slab span depends on the method of construction. Okay, how? So if the beam spacing is about 3 meters center to center, then no temporary propping will be required during the concreting. So due to the short slab span, the stresses in the composite slab in the final state after the concrete has hardened are very low. So for such floors, the trapezoidal steel sheet with limited horizontal shear resistance and ductility are used. So they have lowest steel weight per square meter of floor area, that is why they are preferred. Also, for other floor layouts where the lateral beam spacing is much longer, the props are necessary to support the metal decking during concreting. So, due to the longer slab span, the final composite slab is highly stressed. So, as a result, the final state may govern the design. So, design might have a few limitations because of this. In this case, the steel sheeting will require good horizontal shear bond resistance. So re-entrant profiles are often used, leading to greater steel weight per square meter of the floor area. So these are two possibilities while doing these composite slabs. And the services to be provided through the grid in the beams become an important factor. For the same, we see here the punctures or openings are provided for passing the services. Okay. So we see these diagrams where there is this opening in the beam, there are these castellated beams, there are trusses. So if we see in overall this composite floor construction, it is used for commercial and other multi-story buildings, and it offers if we see the major advantages of it, there is it is faster in construction and simple for constructing because of the metal decking and simple sheet connections that are there. It is also lighter in weight as compared to the traditional system. There is less on-site material handling and construction. So there are small tolerances achieved by using steel members that are manufactured under control factory conditions, right? So there is no need for expensive false work or form work that is required. The aforementioned advantages, the mentioned advantages here, they present a very strong argument for the use of composite beams in building. So they are more significant, however, for medium to long spans than for the shorter spans. So if we see, majorly the shorter spans are preferred here. The main disadvantages of composite structures, if we see, is the need to provide connectors at the steel concrete interface. So also the another minor drawback could be that it is somewhat more complicated than other methods to design and construct. So this drawback is particularly relevant to continuous structures and bridges. However, this is far outweighed by the significant advantages that can be gained. So it is still preferred. So let us see a case study to understand this better. So if for the composite construction, we have a case study from Austria, a building called as Millennium Tower, which is 55-storied building, almost around more than 200 meters is the height. So it has a ground coverage of 38,000 square meters, and it took almost around 8 months, just 8 months for its construction. So using this composite kind of technique. So here if we see in this plan, you see these composite columns that are used, the ones highlighted in green, and the composite slim floor beams have been introduced between them. And the concrete core is also a separate element. We already saw the concrete cores, which are mostly the shear walls. So this is a composite frame altogether formed using the composite columns and beams. Okay, so as I mentioned, it only took 8 months for construction. So the maximum speed is 2 to 2.5 stories per week, which is pretty commendable.